Welcome. So we'll get started in a nice seated position. You can grab blocks. It's going to come in handy for alignment purposes, and seeing as though you have your block, you can then start in a nice seated position on the block. Option of keeping the block flat, you can even flip it sideways, but just find a position that's comfortable for you. It's always good to elevate the hips and to feel less tension in the hip flexor area. So as you stay in this upright position, place your hands onto your thighs and then push your legs down. Make sure there's no tension. Feel that the knees are pushing down towards the floor, and then gently rest your hands onto your knees. Once you've got hands on the knees, pull your shoulders up to your ears, then pull the shoulders back and slide them down. And by just pulling the shoulders back slightly, you find that you're opening up in the chest a bit more. So feel that you've got length through your spine. Imagine that you're pushing your entire body into a wall, including the back of the head, and then close your eyes. It's just a very healthy, upright seated position. So in our seated position, I'm going to keep the knees nice and down on the floor. Take an inhale, arms up, reaching up. With the exhale, reaching forwards and turn it into a nice and comfortable forward bend. Now the thing is, with the hips being slightly elevated, it's going to feel like there's less weight on the sit bones now. So stretch with the sit bones down towards the floor, towards the block, as you're reaching forwards with your arms. So we're stretching in opposite directions, reaching forwards, but with the tailbone reaching back and down. Use the in-breath to lift in the head, walk your hands up slightly, and let's take the hands over to the side. So you're stretching over to one side, reaching, feeling a nice stretch in the side body, and at the same time, sit bones pulling down towards the floor or block. Lifting the head, and inhale, walk your hands back to center and over to the opposite side. So you're getting the hands over to the side, stretching as you root yourself through the sit bones and not compensating in order to get deeper into the stretch. Lifting head and inhale, walking back. As you come back to center, get into an upright position, placing left hand onto the right knee, opposite hand behind the back. Nice deep inhale, get length through your spine, and exhale, looking over the back shoulder. So a nice and gentle spinal twist. Notice what's working in the spinal twist. The spinal muscles, the rotators helping you to twist. The exhalations allow the navel to draw back to spine, giving you slightly better core engagement. Inhale, bring it back to center. And exhale, switch over to the opposite side. Notice what it's like to twist into the opposite direction. It's all about alignment today. Nice upright position. Inhale, bring it back to center. We'll get into seated position, but with the feet out in front, and you'll squeeze the block in between the knees. So just slide the block slightly below the knees. Flexing your feet, grip hold behind the backs of the knees. So in this position, you want to pull your chest closer to your knees, and knees closer to your chest. If this is challenging, place the feet down, but keep squeezing the block. So you've got the option of staying in this position with the feet touching, or feet up, arms out in front. Feel that the sternum is lifting, and breathe. And if it gets too intense at any stage, maybe you try this option, and you get tired, bring the feet down, but keep your chest up. Bring the hands together, interlace or pistol grip. Lock your arms and lean back just a little bit more. Once again, staying here or legs up. Now, it doesn't matter where you are, slowly bring the feet down. So I want the feet to make contact with the floor. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, twist to the right, keeping arms locked. Just feel what happens in the core as we do a bit of a spinal rotation while we're conditioning the core. Inhale, bring it back to center, controlled. Squeeze, block, exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, bringing the arms back to center. You can take the block, put the block aside as we make our way onto all fours. So in an all fours position, hands directly below the shoulders, spread your fingers, grip the mat. So don't just spread the fingers and hold it there. Push the fingertips into the floor and feel that you get activation through the hands. Knees can be hip distance below the hips, and then arch in your back. So as you arch in the back, just creating a bit of a slope, pinch the shoulder blades closer together. So detailed and controlled, we've got the lower back arching, we've got shoulder blades close together, and to complete the posture, lift your head up. Arms straight. Feel the back muscles working to keep the spine in this extended shape. Exhale, bring your body into a neutral position. So a bit of space between shoulder blades and not arching in the back. Now start to tuck your tailbone. Feel that you're doing the opposite with the pelvis. And as you do that, push your chest as far away from the floor as possible. Maintain the tuck in the pelvis and maintain space between chest and floor. To complete the cat stretch, tuck your chin, bring your chin to chest. Inhale, just revert back into a neutral position. Fingers still spread, tuck your toes, make your way back into a downward facing dog. Now in this down dog, if the hamstrings are tight, then I'd suggest that you bend the knees, working the chest towards the feet. The focus is on getting the arms to be straight and the back to be flat. If you have the hamstring flexibility, by all means, straighten your legs. Bend onto both knees, look up. Step your feet in between hands. Halfway lift, placing hands onto shins. With this halfway lift shape, keep breathing. You're going to get the legs nice and straight. Exhale, forward bend, but bend into your knees. Relaxing the crown of the head down. In breath, reverse swan dive. Take arms all the way up to ceiling. And exhale into a mountain pose. Inhale, take arms back up. Exhale, swan dive, bending into the knees as much as you have to, forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift, and this is where you straighten your legs. Planting the hands, step it back. And we'll lower down into knees, chest, chin, but very controlled. So bring the knees down first. Tuck your elbows, bring chest and chin down. Bum up. Inhale, Cobra Pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Straight arms, flat back. That's what you definitely want to be focusing on with your down dog. Bend onto knees, look up. Inhale, position feet in between hands, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend, bending into knees. Inhale, keep a bend in the knees, take arms up. Then finally straighten and exhale, mountain pose. Let's do another sun salutation A. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, Be mindful of the hamstring flexibility, bending into knees if you have to. Inhale, halfway lift. That's where you straighten. Planting the hands, this is where you bend once again. Step it back and place your knees down. Tuck elbows, chest and chin down. In breath, Cobra Pose. Draw the shoulders back and down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bending into knees. Look up. In breath. Feet in between hands. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Take arms to ceiling. Exhale, mountain pose. In breath, bend your knees, sink down, and take your arms up into a chair posture. Exhale, bring hands to prayer. Now as you get hands to prayer, make sure the inner knees are together and you've got the feet together, tilting in the pelvis, keeping length in the lower back, and you are able to see your toes. Don't push your knees past your toes. Take a full in-breath. On exhale, bring your chest forwards. Now we'll start to twist. Get the left elbow over the right knee, and as you push elbow into knee, open the chest to the right. Keep the hips aligned. Keep your knees aligned. Inhale, coming back to center. And exhale, right elbow over left knee, twisting in the opposite direction. Inhale, back to center, but on exhale, bring your hands down, forward bend. Maybe you can straighten the legs out just a little bit more. Inhalation, halfway lift. Planting your hands on exhale, take it back. Lower down knees, chest, and chin. In breath, Cobra Pose. Should you want to take it into up dog, and lock your legs and get the knees to not make contact with the floor. Exhale all the way into down dog. Place knees onto mat. Position the blocks in front of the yoga mat. You might want to flip them sideways. You can even flip the blocks so they're standing up nice and tall. And then make your way back into a downward facing dog. Use inhalation to raise your right leg. Exhale, step right foot in between hands. Reach forwards and place both hands onto the blocks. The blocks should be positioned below the shoulders when we balance on the right foot. So shift weight forwards, float the back foot off the mat. And then as you lift the back leg, see if you can get your body parallel to the floor. If it's challenging, you might want to get softness in the knee or bend into the knee to at least have a bit of weight on the blocks. But we're using the blocks for support today. So keep your hips square. If you feel your left hip is pointing up, pull it down, look towards the back foot and notice that the toes are pointing straight down to the floor. And if you have the balance, we're going to let go of the props, bringing hands to prayer. If it's a bit too intense, keep hands on the blocks. Your choice. Feel that you've got length in your spine. Feel the core being engaged to keep you in this balancing posture. Very slowly, reach to the back of the mat with the left foot, placing the foot down. Bring your hands down. Step back. Knees, chest, chin on exhale. Inhale. Cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale. into down dog. Inhalation, raising left leg. Exhale, position left foot in between hands. Then finding your balance, reach with the hands, find the blocks. Slowly come up, balancing on the left foot. We're working on alignment, so the right hip's got to be in line with the left hip. That's usually where this posture gets difficult. Another element that makes it difficult is obviously the balancing aspects, and that's why we've got the blocks. If you want to try and balance, hands to prayer and holding it. Otherwise, hands onto the blocks. You have your options. Yoga's not a race. Work with your body's limit. We're going to be making our way out of the balancing posture by reaching to the back of the mat, stepping foot down, bring hands down, step back into plank. Place knees down, chest and chin down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhalation, into downward facing dog. Inhale, take right leg to ceiling. Exhale, place right foot in between hands. Reach, find the blocks, place blocks onto the mat, and use the next inhale to straighten your front leg. If this is still a bit intense, then keep a bend in the knee. If you find that it's quite comfortable to keep the legs straight, then you can reposition the blocks. It's all about alignment today. If you don't need the blocks, place the hands on the mat, but arch in your back and feel that you've got a nice straight front leg, not hyperextending in the knee. The hip stays square, and you're pushing the foot down into the floor to feel the hamstring getting a nice stretch, but it's also active. Be opening up into a little bit of a twist, so the left block can be positioned in slightly, hand below the shoulder, block below the shoulder, opening chest to the right as you take the right arm up. If this is quite intense, then you can once again reposition the block so that you've got more height. Exhale. Bring your hand down. You can place the blocks off the mat, stepping right foot back into plank. Lower down. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. In breath, up dog or cobra. Exhale to down dog. Purely focusing on the movement, focusing on the alignment, and as usual, focusing on the breath. Inhale, take left leg up. Exhale, position left foot in between hands. Reach, find the blocks. Position the blocks whichever way you want, but use the inhale to straighten the front leg. If you feel that you have the flexibility, tilt the blocks. Maybe you even want to place them flat on the mat. Just see what option works best. But the hands are more or less below the shoulders, and you're not hyperextending in the front knee. You're going to place the right block in just a little bit. Just bring it slightly in. And I'll take your left arm up, opening chest to the left. Exhale, bring your hand down. As you bend into the front knee, place the blocks in front of the mat, stepping back into a plank shape. Before we continue with vinyasa, place the left knee in line with the wrist, the left wrist, below the hip. Angle your foot, your straight leg's foot, and then come up into a slightly modified side plank. So the arm goes up. You're pushing out of your left hand. And you're pushing the right foot into the floor to feel that you've got stability. And then exhale. Bring the right hand down. Position right knee behind or in line with the right wrist. Straighten the left leg. Taking the left arm up. Just feel that you've got a strong connection through the floor as you grip the mat with the right hand. And as you make use of the inner part of the left foot to push in to the floor. Exhale, bring the left hand down, making your way back into a traditional plank. Lower down knees, chest and chin. In breath, up dog or cobra. And exhale into downward facing dog. Inhalation, raise your right leg. Exhale, step right foot between hands. Grip hold of one block. Step your back foot in as you angle the back foot, and then make your way up, arms out to the sides. We're going to do triangle pose, so you reach forwards, placing the block to the inside of the right heel as you take left arm up. So we've got more height here with the block. Let's see if you can get this triangle pose to be in great alignment by keeping length in your back and feeling the right hamstring muscles and inner thigh muscles working, stretching. Inhale, coming up. And then you square off in the hips, switch. Get the block in your left hand, right hand onto the waist. Pull the right hip back. Place the block to the outside of the front foot. Keep the hand on the block and start to open up. Maybe this is your limit. And if you want to take it one step further, take your arm up as we revolve our triangle pose. But you can most definitely keep hand on the waist. You want to keep weight in the back heel. It's all about the alignment. Inhale, slowly making your way up. Just bend into the front knee, place the block in front of the mat, step it back, and we make our way back to plank. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. In breath, cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. Going to attempt the opposite side in our left leg up. Exhale, left foot between hands. You can find a block with the left hand. Step the right foot in and angle your back foot as you then come up. We've got a shorter stance, arms out. You're reaching forwards with an exhale. Place the block to the inside of the heel. The right arm goes up. Pay attention to what you're feeling in the body with this triangle pose and find a way to keep length in your spine. You want to take the back foot and it's as if you're turning the toes away from the body, but the foot doesn't move. So you've got that external rotation that you're doing with the back leg to keep the hip up. Inhale, coming up. And we'll just switch hands with this block. So we've still got heel to alignment. Get the hips to be square. Reach forwards with the right arm. Place the block to the outside of your left foot. Left hand onto the waist. Start to twist. Revolving your triangle pose. Potentially taking left arm up as you open the chest to the left side of the room or studio. Focusing on keeping your inhalations deep, slow, controlled. You're going to use the in-breath to slowly come back up. As you get softness in the front knee, position the blocks out in front and then step it back. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale into down dog. And I'll raise your right leg. Exhale, place the right foot between hands. Angle your back foot. Make sure you've got heel to alignment. Place the right elbow on top of the right knee, left hand onto the lower back. And you start to open up, looking over the left shoulder, keeping length through your entire body. You're sinking low into the front knee, and you're keeping the front knee in line with the right hip. Should you wish to make the posture a little bit more intense, just look down to the floor and get the fingers close to the mat on the inside of the leg, but not to touch. So the arm is pushing into the leg, fingers very close but not touching. Feel the difference between the activation you're getting into the front leg now compared to resting an elbow on the knee. Let's position both hands back onto the mat with an exhale, lifting the back heels, step back, lower down, knees, chest and chin. In breath, Cobra or up dog. Exhale to the down dog. And this time round, as we lower down, you're more than welcome to do knees, chest, chin, or you can keep the knees off the mat and slowly come all the way down onto the floor. You'll float the arms off the mat. Get the hands below the shoulders, keep your chest up. Should you want to take it a step further, float both legs off the mat. Just keep the breath nice and deep. Pointing with the toes, locking your legs. Nice way to get extension in the hips. And we'll bring the legs down, bring your hands down. You can tuck your toes and push all the way back. You're going to step into a seated, or you can potentially jump into a seated position. But you want to cross the legs and get to seated. Now once again, find your block. You can even use both blocks and stack them. It's going to make it even easier. But as you get onto the block, all blocks, bring the soles of the feet together. Place your hands in line with the torso. Then take a full deep inhale. Actively pull the knees down. Exhale, leaning forwards with your chest and chin. So a subtle bit of opening in the groin area and in the hips by working the chest forwards. Inhale, lifting in the chest. You can get off the block, stepping feet onto the mat, just moving the knees from side to side. Dropping one knee in, then opposite knee. Still a little bit of movement in the hips. We're going to be stretching the glutes out. And back to center. And straighten both legs. Just before we make our way down onto the mat, get back onto a block. As you position yourself onto the block, keep your feet together, flexing in both feet. Take a nice in-breath, reaching up to ceiling. Exhale, lean with chest and chin. We do a slightly elevated Paschimottanasana, slight elevation in the hips. If you can't hold onto the feet, doesn't matter. Grip hold of the legs or the ankles, but flex your feet and feel that you're leaning forwards with your chest and chin. So you're bringing chest and chin closer to the legs. Inhalation, lifting in your chest, and exhale, let go of the feet. You can get off the block as we slowly relax down onto the floor. And as you relax back, bring your knees into your chest. So hug knees in. Bit of a counter stretch for the back, really. Keeping the legs at 90, so you're just simply going to let go of the knees. Bring the knees together, legs at 90. Arms out to the sides. Drop your knees over to the right. Gaze to the left. Bring the knees back to center and dropping the knees over to the left. Arms still out to the sides, gaze to the right. Nice, gentle spinal twist. You can make your way back to center. Step feet onto the mat. Find your block and just slip the block under the body by the sacrum area. And as you now rest your sacrum onto the block, get the soles of the feet together and let the knees relax out to the sides to a Supta Badakanasana, that reclined butterfly position. And as you do this, place left hand onto your heart, right hand onto your abdomen. And just become aware of what happens on the inhalations. You'll feel belly pushing into your hand. And on the exhalations, navel drawing back to spine. And then at the same time, notice what happens in the chest as you inhale. The rib cage expanding. And on the exhale, the hands slowly dropping down slightly. Don't hold tension in the pelvis area. Go soft onto the block. You've got two options with your meditation or your relaxation at least. You can stay in this position for a while longer. You can simply stay here. Or if you want to get the block from under the body and straighten the legs and arms, then you can now move into your corpse pose. So decide what's more comfortable for you. And then as you get comfortable, just allow the breath to be natural. Keep your eyes closed. Just stay in your corpse pose for a while before we carry on with the day.